Now I want to come back to the new user form so that we can choose from the groups that we've entered. Right-click to make a new value list. We're going to call this one Groups. All right, and this is going to be database values, all values from. We're going to choose our user data, and the table is going to be Groups. And we want the group ID, but we don't want to show it. So what we do want to show, though, is the group name. Now choose Control-S to save. All right, now that that's done, we can go back to our new user form. Now we can go back down to the value list, double-click, choose Groups, click OK. And now we're going to change the display type of this from text field to combo box. And finally save the form, Control-S. Now let's go ahead and open up the Smart Client and enter our groups and then enter our new users. So here we have our Smart Client, and it's on our customer form, but we're not there yet. So we're going to go down to our groups, and I'm going to make a new record. You can say select new record or Control-N. The first one that we're going to put in is administrators, and then Control-N for new record. The second group is going to be called users. All right, that data is done. Now we're going to go back to the window menu and choose our new user. I'm going to make two users. I'm going to make user Bob. His password is going to be Bob. And now my value list has a list of our administrators. I'm going to click New User. And now the second guy that I'm going to make is called Tom, and his login is going to be Tom, and he's going to be part of the users. All right, now that we've created our records, now we need to focus on the business rules, how we're going to enforce them. So let's go back to our customers form and add the logic. So here it shows me that there's 5 open ones. I can come back to my customers form. And now what we need to do is when this form is shown based on their login group, we need to hide or show things. So to do that, we need to create a new method. Now we can either put it on the onload event, which means that it will fire one time. And this is great to just set up basic things like we're going to need. But if we're going to do more complex rules, things that could change on data, you may want to put it on the onShow event so that it fires every time this form is shown. So we're going to do it on the onload. I'm going to double-click and say Create Form Method. And this is going to be onload. And click OK. We're going to save the form, Control-S, and then we'll click on our customers, right-click on onload, and open it in the method editor. So here what we're going to do is we're going to take various elements and we're going to show them if the current group is administrators, and we're going to hide them and disable them if they're a member of the users. So we're going to say if globals current group equals administrators, then we're going to do this action. So we'll add a placeholder called stuff here. If it's the administrators, right now we're going to do nothing. And then we're going to say else. Now we're going to expand the customers node, choose the elements, and we're going to hide both the label for customer ID. So we're going to click on it, double-click the visible property, and say equals false. And then we're going to do the same thing for the field called customer ID. Now for the city field, we're going to do something different. We're going to disable it. So we're going to click on field city and then double-click on the enabled and set that to false. Then we'll do the same thing for the label. All right, so we've gone ahead now and said, if it's not administrators, go ahead and change these objects on the form. Now, we need to copy this and put it up into the administrator section and set them to true. Otherwise, they will still be hidden and disabled. All right, so let's go ahead and save that. Now, there's two more things that we need to do. and that is to hook up the button on the login form and then test it out. So we'll go back to our login form. Here we'll close up our customers, click on our login form, right-click on our button, login, and open it in the script editor. What we're going to do now is we're going to actually expand the login node, and then we're going to tell the controller object to do a find. We're going to double-click find, and now we're going to say actually search. I'm going to double-click search. And we can clear these optional parameters out of here. So we're telling this controller to go ahead and find a record, and now we're going to tell it what we want to find. Now we're going to click on the selected record, and because this login form now is based on the user table, we're going to say find where the username equals whatever's in our global. All right? And then we also want to find where the password also matches. Double-click user password and say equals global's user password. We want to know how many records are found, and the search parameter will go ahead and give us back a number. So we can say var found equals controller search. All right, to save some time, I've gone ahead and add some extra code. This says if found is greater than 0, so they found somebody, set our current group to the group ID. If not, throw up an error dialog. So I added one more line, forms.customerscontroller.show, and that will go ahead and show the customers form if the login is successful. Let's save that with Control S. And now finally, we're going to go up to our solution and make sure that the first form that we see is our login form. Choose login. All right, well that should be it. So let's go ahead now and test it out. So we're going to go to our smart client, and our username, we'll try Bob, and click login. Oh look, we got the same result. Well, why is that? Well, that's because we said if they're of the group administrators in quotes. The value in the group ID is an integer. It's not a text string. So let's go back to our method and debug it and fix it. So here on our customer method, rather than having quote administrators, we'll say if it equals 0, which we know is the administrators group, and try it again. Now we'll log in as Bob, and click login, and now we see everything is normal. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial.